and this is the fourth video um, of a presentation that is meant to help teachers think about the structures they might set up when using Google Drive with students, structures for students to share information with teachers, for teachers to share with students, and students to share with each other. So in this fourth rather, of the videos, I'm going to talk a little bit about the structures for students collaborating with each other, and also for kind of editing common documents. So you'll see right here, here's a folder that says shared edit. So this folder right here, as I mentioned before, you can share folders by coming here and doing share. And this folder itself is actually shared with all of this graduating class. And for some schools that have Google Umbrella accounts already set up and that have students already have emails provided by the school, this may be a simpler thing. For some people it might be a little bit more difficult if students are using their personal accounts. And there's definitely logistical matters around that. I do keep track. I keep stickies, the kind of Apple stickies, or a backup kind of text document that has all the emails, so I can copy and paste them easily. So it doesn't really take me too much to do to set up the structure. But once it's set up, it lasts for as long as I teach that class. So I teach classes 2 years in a row, so I set up the structure and then it just kind of keeps going. So what do I use this for? So I'll give you an example. Again, I'm a science teacher, so if I click here on a carrot lab, we did a little mini investigation. I had students take down some data. So they were doing a lab, and different groups were they were measuring the mass of the carrot root and the carrot leaves and whatnot. Each group got a couple carrots, and this was a way that they could all put their data into one document, and then we could graph it as a scatter plot and kind of consider what's going on. And so you can see these letters are my groupings. So I have a group A and I have a group B, and there's 3 students in each of these groups, and they were using scales and carrots and measuring things. And then they could easily make this graph, and then also I require them to copy the whole class's data into their own notebooks, and then to make this graph in their own notebooks as well, so that they get kind of the graph making skills. They get to do the measurements for a couple of carrots, but they get to benefit from everybody kind of doing some of the work and coming up with a graph. So that's one of the ways that I use it. So for like in a class, data collection and making graphs, so that each group is doing a small piece of the activity, and then in the end we end up with a chart that involves a lot of data. So it's a great time saver in that way, in that they're getting to see the results of a lot of data collection, but just doing a piece of it, contributing their bit. So these are all situations where I wanted students all kind of contributing for a particular station or project. Now if I, here's another interesting one actually, textbook summary stuff. We did do this thing where we were trying to decide what the best summary for textbook content is. Not as exciting as experiments maybe, but still the act of being able to summarize content, super important skill. And so this was a place where the different groups summarized different pieces, and then there were multiple summaries, and we voted on whose we thought was the best kind of concise summary. But again, a place to kind of share information as a whole class. This shared view I use more for if students are needing to get a template of something, like so here's their, see this unit name, Science Notebook 7. So they can view these things, they can make copies of these things, but they cannot edit them. So I wanted to have a template for a notebook that then each of the students could go and copy and use the template. So see, this has all the little tabs and various bits and pieces in it that I wanted. So they would open this, and they can open it. They can't edit it, but they can open it, but they can make a copy of it. Once they've made that copy, they can drag it into their notebooks folder, and then they've shared it with me. So that's a way that you can share templates or structures or other things that you want them to be able to copy but not edit. So that's what I use this folder for right here. Yeah. I'll show one more thing, and I think this will be the last video, but I also, some structures that might be for collaboration. So I use the Google presentation tool when a bunch of students are working on a project and I want to very clearly delineate bits and pieces and give directions so that different students would work on different parts and they have to actually identify what parts they worked on so that it can be a group project. They're working together, there's collaboration, but there's accountability in terms of they're doing their piece and I can see what piece they did compared to what piece other students have done. So it's a bunch of information, I know. Again, my name is Jennifer Spaeth. My email is jspaeth, JSPAETH, @keyschool.com. Feel free to email me if you have any questions or ideas about other ideas or help that you might need in terms of doing this stuff. Thanks.